Hello and welcome back to One Way Designs 238. If this is your first time here, I'd like to say welcome. I do hope that you will consider sticking around by subscribing to this channel, hitting the notification bell, and giving a nice thumbs up. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. Jumping right into today's project, I'm going to start off with two of these plank plaques. That's what I'm going to call them. These plank plaques from the Dollar Tree's Dollar Tree Plus section. They did cost $3 each, but I really do like the quality of these. So starting with these, what I'm going to do is just remove the hanging apparatus, which is the twine, from both of these. Now you could definitely keep this twine to use in another project at a later date. Now to go ahead and prep the first part of this project, the foundation of this project, I'm going to come in with some of my folklore antiquing wax. And what I'm going to do is just rub the antiquing wax into the wood. Now, I started off with the sponge brush. It wasn't doing exactly what I wanted it to do or needed it to do. So here I just switched to a paper towel. And again, I'm just going with the grain of the wood because I'm loving how this antiquing wax is really bringing out and highlighting the natural grain of the wood. And while I'm doing this, I am being sure to get all the sides and the edges of these plank plaques. Now, this video today is a special video for my farmhouse lovers. I know I have some subscribers that absolutely love Farmhouse, so this is for you, as well as my cousin Tab. She just purchased a home and she loves the farmhouse decor theme, so I'm making this to give to her. Now, once I have done my first piece, I'm also going to do the second piece. Now, both of these are done. I'm going to set these aside to dry. Now I'm going to start with these two plaques that I did pick up from the Dollar Tree, and of course removing the labels from the backs of these. If you can't find these or don't have these at your local Dollar Tree, you could also find these at Michael's, and I believe they're around 99 cents as well. Now, for the backs of these, I'm going to add these pieces of scrap wood that I did have from another project. If you don't have anything like this, you can always use the tumbling tower game pieces. I'm going to apply these right smack dab in the middle of these plaques on the back with some Dollar Tree's Fix All adhesive as well as my hot glue. What this is going to do is give us a 3D effect on our project, as well as giving us a handle to hold on to while we are painting these. So once I have my wood pieces on the back of these plaques, on both of them, I'm just going to go ahead and bring out my white chalk paint by Waverly. If you don't have Waverly, please feel free to use folk art. I've also heard that Rust-Oleum has a very good chalk paint as well. So with these, I'm going to give both of these 2 coats. And I'm making sure that I'm getting into all of the grooves, the decorative grooves that are on the edges of these. Now, I'm not only going to paint just the front of these plaques, I'm also going to paint a good portion of the back, because I don't want any of that wood to really just show. So here's a little tip. When you get these wood plaques from the store, sometimes you may have to use a bit of sandpaper just to be sure that the edges are nice and clean. So whenever you're using these, take your time, and if you have to smooth them out, go ahead and smooth them out, because it will really help your finished project look more professional and more finished. So once my first plaque is done, I'm going to go ahead and do this into the second plaque as well. Once these are done, I'm going to set these aside and let them get even more dry. So now I'm going to bring in 2 of these wooden boxes from the Dollar Tree, and these are the wooden boxes that come with the little drawers that are on the inside of them. So what I have done is simply measured the middle of these boxes, and my measurement was right at 1.5 inches to mark the middle. So once I have marked that point on each side, what I have done is just simply taken my drill and I'm drilling a hole that is large enough for me to fit my twine to go through the holes. Whenever you're using your power tools, please be careful. I would hate for anybody to get hurt doing any of these projects. So now the holes have been drilled, and I'm going to come back again with this white chalk paint by Waverly. And I'm going to give these boxes 2 really good coats. Now, when I'm painting these, I wanted to be sure, and I want you to be sure, that you go ahead and paint the top edges of the boxes as well. So both of these boxes have been done. Again, I'm going to set these aside to dry as well. So going back to my plank plaques, I have some hanging pieces or apparatuses that I've gotten from the Dollar Tree. What I'm simply doing is I have found the middle of the back of this piece. I have marked the 2 holes for the middle brackets, drilled those holes. Then I'm just going to go ahead and manually screw the little screws into those holes. Now, once I have those screws screwed into the back of this piece, I'm just going to bring in a little bit of hot glue, and I'm putting this over the screws because I don't want to take any chances with this scratching anyone's walls. So once the hanging apparatus is attached to it, now I'm going to go ahead and put a bit of hot glue on the back of our plaques, the white plaques where we glued that piece of wood. This is what I'm going to glue right in the middle of our plank plaque. Now, the reason I did this, as I mentioned, was for us to be able to screw our piece, well, our 2 pieces together. So as you see, I have drilled my hole, and now I'm going to take a screw, which is the appropriate length, and I'm just going to screw it through these 2 pieces, attaching them, because we're going to be hanging something from this project, and I don't want this to be falling apart. I have done this to both of my pieces. So now I have this plant hanger that I did pick up again from the Dollar Tree. You guys, this is so easy, and I'm loving this because it looks so high end. I got like really excited. So what I have done is I measured from the bottom of my plank at 2 inches, and this is where the first hole is going to be made. We're marked. Once I have marked that first hole, then I'll go ahead and place the bracket or the plant hanger, place it on there, mark it, and then once it's marked, I'm going to go ahead and drill those holes. I've added some hot glue to make sure this is in place while I am screwing this and attaching it to the wood plank. Once I've gotten my pilot hose drilled and I have my plant hanger attached to the wood with hot glue, I'm going ahead and I'm going to screw the screws into this, attaching these pieces together. And you may have to finagle this to make it work and to screw in. Now, again, the reason that I am using these screws is because I'm going to be gifting this to my cousin, as I stated earlier, and I don't want this to be hanging on her wall and then all of a sudden it falling apart. We just can't have that. This, again, is another way of going the extra mile, taking an extra step, and making sure that this project is going to be, high end and very professional. So now with my metal screws, what I am doing with my silver screws, excuse me, I'm just simply taking a Sharpie marker or a paint pen, or you can use acrylic paint, and I am coloring those screws to match the black plant hanger. So now let's bring our boxes back in. To decorate these, I am going to bring in some of this burlap ribbon that has the lace on the top of it. So I have measured exactly how much I need to go around my 2 boxes. And once I have the appropriate length of the ribbon, I'm just going to go ahead and cut the wire away from all the sides of these ribbons. And to me, this step is really going to take this to another level. So once that wire is cut away from the ribbon, I'm going to go ahead and remove the first 2 to 3 strands of the actual burlap that is woven to form the burlap, that is. So now I'm going to choose the best looking side to be the front, flip the box over, and I'm just going to go ahead and start adhering the lace burlap to the middle of the boxes. You guys, if you are enjoying this project so far, please be sure to leave me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. That really encourages me, and it lets me know that you guys like what I'm doing. And even if you don't like it, please hit the thumbs up anyway, you guys. Ain't no harm in being nice. So as you can see, the boxes are coming together, and this lace with those frayed edges are really, it just makes it stand out to me. So now I have some of this thicker jute cord that I did pick up from Walmart. I have measured already the length, or how far I want these to hang. So you can have these hang as low or as high as you would like. So what I've done is I'm taking my cut ends of the twine, I put a little bit of hot glue, just a little drop, and I'm rubbing this between my fingers to form almost like a shoelace end, the tip of a shoelace, so that we'll be able to go through those holes in our boxes. Once that's done, I'm just simply going to stick the end of the twine into the hole in the box, tie a knot, and I put a drop of glue, and I pull quite tightly so that this twine is not going anywhere. And I'm going to again do this to both of my boxes. So these boxes are done. Now I'm going to show you how I have hung these up and set these up. You guys, these turned out so much better than I imagined in my mind. These really, truly, I hate to sound cliche, but these really these really look so high end. I feel like these look like I purchased these from Kirkland's or West Elm or from Pottery Barn. I absolutely love how these turned out. So if you guys enjoyed this, again, please leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, because I love interacting with you guys. As always, my prayer for you is that you continue to stay healthy and that you continue to stay blessed. Until next time, be richly blessed in Jesus' name. Bye-bye.